What is going on, guys? JD from New York here. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel this afternoon. This is, of course, the #1 professional wrestling podcast right here on YouTube.com for everything WWE. This is Off the Script, episode 189, part number 3 to close out your weekend. This is October 1st, 2017, and I could taste the pumpkin ale in the air. Can't wait, man. To pop open a nice cold pumpkin ale on a cool, crisp New York night, man. Oh, one of the best moments all year, bro. It only comes around once a year, so relish it while it's here. If you guys missed yesterday's video, man, Off the Script, we talk about a top authority figure, Stephanie McMahon, if you want to call her that. Stephanie McMahon coming back to Monday Night Raw. They think that's going to help with Raw ratings. That's actually going to drive people away, bringing back Stephanie McMahon. We talk about that on part number 2. On part number 1, we talk about a major update that is being reported by Ryan Satin and James McKenna of Pro Wrestling Sheet about the Shield, and that the Miz Taraj is not set in stone to be the Shield's first opponents back with this Shield reunion that is being heavily talked about and heavily rumored now going into TLC. Also, I want you guys to go check out the video I made on September 28th. Vince McMahon's long-term WrestleMania 34 plans for both Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, and how that is a huge mistake going into New Orleans, man. If you guys missed any of that stuff, it is live on the channel right now. Please go and show us some support. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Also live on the channel, we got NXT review, SmackDown Live, and we got Monday Night Raw review. So that is all for you guys there. Once you're done here, if you missed any of that content this week, it is there for you guys to go and view whenever you get the chance. I want to talk about what happened on Friday, man. We were at the Elks Lodge in, not Corona, it was Queensboro, New York. We were there for the House of Glory show called Chapter 2. I was there doing play-by-play commentary with Mr. Matthew Ryan Shapiro, who it's always a pleasure working with. If you guys came out to the House of Glory show, it was probably one of their best shows this year, easily. I mean, there was a buzz in the air that you just feel everybody's excitement. And this was one of those shows that just flowed nice. It started on time. It ended on time. Everybody got their shit in. It was headlined by a main event that I hope is showcased early on House of Glory's Facebook page with HOG Live. Unbelievable match between Ricochet and Amazing Red, man. The Amazing Red is the House of Glory World Champion. He beat Anthony Gangone at our event, SummerSlam weekend, entitled High Intensity 6. And there was moments in this match where Shapiro and I didn't say a goddamn thing. We just watched, and the athleticism and the fluidity and just the work rate of both Red, especially Red after being off for so long with a knee injury. A knee injury that would cripple anybody else. But Red's come back. He's trained his ass off. He's the world champion. Guy hasn't missed a beat, man. The guy hasn't missed a beat from the last time I seen him wrestle to now. He's actually better now. To be honest with you, he's actually better now than the last time I seen him. Ricochet, one of my most favorite names on the independent circuit. I'm awaiting the day he comes into WWE. That guy has got world champion written all over his DNA, bro. I'm telling you right now. There was a moment in this match where they went back and forth, reversal for reversal for reversal. Me and Shapiro didn't utter one word, man. I got chills watching these guys for a good 45 seconds just bounce off the ropes, reversing each other perfectly. Perfectly. I don't get chills in professional wrestling that often. The last time I got chills watching professional wrestling was when I watched The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25. Actually, I'm lying. The last time I got chills was watching Nakamura and Sami Zayn in the ring with that NXT TakeOver Dallas crowd. But those two instances, those are the two matches that, you know, I often go back and watch because they were so amazing. But Sami Zayn can't wrestle, though, according to the goons out here on the internet. But I got chills, man, and I don't get chills often in wrestling. But watching those two guys work on Friday night, easily, I even tweeted out, I wanted to thank both of them for one of the best professional wrestling main events that you will see all year. And I hope to showcase that on HOG Live, or I hope that the people in charge over at House of Glory showcase that immediately, man. That was an unbelievable match, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. I thought me and Shapiro did an excellent job calling the match. Facts about both guys, calling the action quick, and it was just great, man. I think that was one of our better matches that he and I called. I'm still trying to learn. I'm asking for advice, through him and through other people that have listened to my commentary. I'm so dedicated to this craft that I want to get better. I know what my weaknesses are, and the one thing that I hear from people, and I spoke to Matt Travis, who was on the card for Chapter 2. He's one of the best up-and-coming performers in House of Glory. I seen him towards the end of the show, and he was taking part in breaking down the ring. And he came up to me, we shook hands. To hear from him, who I see works so hard, and he tells me, he tells me directly to my face, he's like, dude, I love what you do. You have so much passion and energy for what you do. You make us all sound so great. And I hope to see you get better. And he was in one of the matches on Friday night. He was in a 6-man scramble match, which was a #1 contender match for the House of Glory Crown Jewel Championship. I even told him, because I don't look at the results before the show goes on the air. I take the Jim Ross approach. I don't want to know anything but the match layout. You want to give me some notes on each match, highlights of something that I have to say to get the match over, fine. But give me the match order. Don't tell me the winners. And don't tell me anything that's happening on the show, because I want to genuinely be surprised. And when I'm calling the action and I see something, just happen out of nowhere, it's a more genuine reaction than me knowing it ahead of time and I got to be, forceful in a reaction. I don't like that. But he told me, that he enjoys the commentary work, and he wants, he wants to see me get better, and everybody, appreciates the passion and dedication I put into it. And I even told him, I'm like, dude, I don't read the results before the match, and I was hoping that they would put you over, because he's come a long way from being a part of Cashflow Ken Broadway's, group entourage, and now he's on his own. I'm hoping that they give him an opportunity to shine, because he's being held back in these multi-person matches. He's had spots here and there to just showcase what he's done. He did an unbelievable springboard moonsault off the top rope, and he landed on his feet as he moonsaulted to the outside. I'm like, holy shit. Something like that cannot go unnoticed, man. That's just dedication right there to your craft, because not any normal human being is going to be able to do that. So I told him that I hope that they had put him over. And he actually ended up on the receiving end of a loss in that 6-man scramble match. But good things to come for, Murder by Kicks, Matt Travis. But the entire event was unbelievable, man. I love my House of Glory family. I can't wait till the next event. I believe it's October 21st? Or it's 21st or 23rd. It's that Saturday. And it's going to be Glory of War. Michael Elgin is going to be in the building. Mia Yim is going to be in the building. So I can't wait to see that, man. I've seen Michael Elgin wrestle a few times, and it's going to be interesting to see him up close and personal in the ring during a House of Glory event. Mia Yim, obviously, you guys know she was in the Mae Young Classic. I believe she went against Shayna Baszler in the Mae Young Classic. She advanced to the second round. She didn't get past Shayna Baszler, obviously, but it's going to be interesting to call one of her matches, man. It's going to be a good night if you guys can make it out. I greatly appreciate it. I want to thank everybody that came out and came up to me and said that they enjoyed Off the Script. I want to thank everybody that came to support me. I want to thank my boys, Macho T and Tony Pizza Guy. They came to the event, and it was just great having Tony there. He's such a good guy. Macho, self-explanatory. He's been a supporter of what I do here, and he's blown up on his own. So, he's always a pleasure to be around. Just a great guy. Loves the business, loves wrestling, and it was just great having them around. I hung out with those guys after the show, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I also want to thank my buddy Nick. Nick runs the Sledgehammer TV wrestling podcast here on YouTube. I'm going to link you guys his channel in the description of this video, and I'm going to link it at the end. I'm going to put a annotation at the end of the video. It's going to pop up. Nick has come to most, every show that I've been commentating for the most part. He's been coming to the shows. And he's bought me a Guinness every time. I joke, if you guys want to come up to me, I accept Guinness, at all times, because I love Guinness. Nick comes to the shows because he loves pro wrestling. He loves House of Glory, and he supports what I do, which I'm grateful for. But the fact that he has his own wrestling podcast is great. But I want to show you how much I appreciate my fans, man. This blew me away. And he got this made for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn this year, and he was in attendance. And I don't know if this made TV or not, but the fact that he made this and he brought it to the show for people to see him hold up, I'm blown away by. And he wrote something on the back here. I want to read it before I actually show you guys what it is. Jerry JD. This poster was held high in the Barclays Center during NXT TakeOver Brooklyn number 3 when Adam Cole made his debut, baby. Unfortunately, it did not make it on the air, but you were there with me in spirit. Without you, there is no me. Have a great year, and, I look forward to 100K and beyond together. Love, respect, and your loyal Patreon and super fan, I believe, he puts Nick Nightmare from the Sledgehammer TV podcast. This is awesome, man. Look at that. That's fucking great right there. That's the original design for the podcast that is on the first ever Off the Script t-shirt. I told him I'm going to get this framed and I'm going to hang it up whenever I get my own office space, whenever I get my own office, my own podcast room. I got visions of just getting my own room and my own studio once I move out of this wretched apartment. But the fact that Nick, had that made for me, and he brought it to TakeOver, and then he brought it to the show, and he wanted me to have it, that means the world to me, man. But, it's things like that that really make me happy about doing what I'm doing. If I can influence and impact one person. That's fucking awesome, man. So I'm going to leave you guys a link to Nick's podcast down below. And I want you guys, everybody listening to me, you know the numbers Off the Script does every video, every weekend. I want a majority of you to go over there and support him. And he's at 192 subscribers right now. It's the last I checked. I actually checked this morning. If we can get Nick to, I don't expect anything overwhelming. If we could get Nick to 500 subscribers, man, that'd make my weekend, and you would make his weekend, I know for sure. So that's the goal. He's at 192 now. If we can get just a little bit over 300 subscribers for Nick and the Sledgehammer TV podcast, which is available on all platforms, YouTube, Podbean, I believe Spotify, iTunes. You can listen to him on multi different platforms. But if we can get him to 500 subs here on YouTube, man, that would be unbelievable. After the show was over, I hung out with Tony Pizza Guy and Macho T. So they come up to me during intermission of the House of Glory show, and they tell me that Luigi is in Brooklyn at a place called Barcade, and she's there with Xavier Woods. So I'm like, yeah, man, let's go hang out with Luigi. Luigi's a absolute sweetheart. Whether you guys, I know she's not everybody's cup of coffee, but you can't judge anybody until you meet them in person. Okay, people judge me based on what they see here, let alone, it's unfair. It's not right. You can't judge me for what you see on here compared to what I am in person. I'm not the same individual. I amp it up. I'm like the Stone Cold Steve Austin of YouTube, man. I amp up my personality just a little bit just to entertain you guys. Because that's what people ultimately want to see. If I was regular, boring, everyday Jerry, nobody's going to watch me. I understand that. YouTube's a business. YouTube is entertainment. You got to amp it up. You got to give people what they want. But regardless of that, I hung out with Tony, Macho, and then Luge over at the Barcade. And there was Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods, fucking awesome in person. This is the second time I had the pleasure of meeting him. I met him last year when I went to Barcade to go hang out with Dank for a little bit. And his girlfriend was there as well, Michelle. Also, Two just very, very down-to-earth, great individuals. And Xavier was there. He was being swarmed a little bit by people because, obviously he's Xavier Woods. He's, tag team champion of SmackDown Live. Some people didn't know who he was. Some people came up to him and asked him, hey, are you that wrestling guy? Are you the guy on TV? The people who don't watch, but they kind of recognized who he was. So he was there. He was hanging out with Luge, and everybody was in town for the WWE 2K event that was going on. They were getting early access and exclusives for the game. So you guys have seen all the entrances. That was part of the whole, the whole deal this week, getting early footage. So Xavier was there, and I had an opportunity to ask him one question. I was like, may I ask you one question? And it's one thing that I've discussed on the podcast. And I asked him, what is it with the lack of depth in the tag team divisions on SmackDown Live and on Monday Night Raw? Is there going to be a focus on tag team wrestling? Is there going to be, anything outside of the great feud? Because I've said this multiple times. The Usos and the New Day have had one of the best feuds in all of WWE. Whether you guys find it repetitive, whether you guys don't like it, you got to understand that the matches that they have put on have been better than each one previously. That's the personification of what everybody should strive for. That's exactly what a musician, anybody who's doing anything, should be. That was my mentality with my brother, and when I was writing music with him. That's my brother's mentality now when he writes music. Everything that he writes going forward has to be better than what he did previously. And that's exactly the take that I get. That's the takeaway I get from this Usos New Day feud. Everything that they've done it better each and every time, and it's better than their previous matchups. Battleground, right? SummerSlam was better than Battleground. Then we had the next one be better than that. We had the street fight. And then we got Hell in a Cell coming up. I think Hell in a Cell is going to blow everything away, But he says that internally they love tag team wrestling. It's just that, they're... I don't know the exact... He gave me a very, very, very descriptive answer. He kind of gave me answer upon answer upon answer upon answer for my one little question. But the ultimate takeaway that I got from it was that they want to leave the tag team division in a better place. They want to do what they're doing with the Usos, and they want to have that bleed on into the next two teams. Whoever that might be, They want to leave the groundwork so that when they can kind of move away from the spotlight, those two teams under them can come up and just slide into those two positions. Which, that's great. That's a great mentality to have for someone like the New Day, who is, one of the best tag teams in the WWE. But they love tag team wrestling. They want to see tag team wrestling flourish. Everybody wants to see tag team wrestling. But he also mentioned that they have a lot of talented teams right now that are not getting the opportunity to kind of fit into that mold that they want to try and create. So they're doing what they can to make each and every opportunity they got better than the last, in hopes that the next two teams that come up can slide right on in there, and everything will come full circle. He told me by the end of 2018 he wants at least 6 teams. This is his vision. This is what he wants to do. This is what they're trying to do. This is what him and the Usos and the New Day are trying to do. By the end of 2018, he wants there to be 6 teams on the same caliber, the same level as both of those teams for the entire brand. And that would generate competition, and that would generate what we all want to see from tag team wrestling on WWE television. But they do want competition. That was my first thing. Why isn't there not enough competition in the tag team division? We got Breezango, we got Ascension, we got, the Colognes, we got, the Hype Bros. None of them have really been given the ball to run with it, and we are all waiting for competition because it seems like the New Day and the Usos are just leagues ahead of everybody else. And there's really nobody on Monday Night Raw, So that was his answer to me. I also had inquired, because I was talking to Tony Pizza Guy about this, at different portions of the night. And I asked, what do I have to do to pretty much become unblacklisted Because I feel like whatever I do here and my voice and whatever I tweet out, my feelings on the product, I feel like I'm blacklisted from being where, Luge is, from being where Macho T is, from being where Tony is, to get invited to these 2K events. I see all these uploads, and I see all these exclusives going out before the October, embargo is up for 2K18. And I'm like, fuck, I wish I was a part of that. I wish I was a part of that close-knit group. I wish I could upload content to my channel early. I wish I could get invited out to the events. Luigi took a picture with Bobby Roode doing the glorious pose. I'm like, shit, man, that makes me, seeing that makes me kind of envious, but also at the same time, it makes me work harder and understanding what I have to do to get there. I'm just hoping that I can get there because I know I have the audience for it, and I know I have the passion for it, I know I have the drive for it. But the question was posed to Xavier Woods how I could get to that point, being that I'm a podcaster who really has no filter. He said that the guys in the back, the boys in the back, the women in the back, they don't listen to podcasts. They could give two shits about podcasting. That made me roll my eyes a little bit. I don't really believe those sentiments. I think that if you're in the entertainment business, and this goes for anybody, whether you're doing what I'm doing, whether you're, on a low-level scale like me, whether you're, at the top of your game like a Solid Monster or a Bruce Pritchard or Justin LeBar, Dave Meltzer, I don't believe for 1 second that the guys in the back or anybody in professional wrestling doesn't listen to podcasts. And he was talking generally based in the WWE. Nobody in the back listens to podcasts. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. Because everybody that works in that business wants to know what people are thinking about them. They have a lot of free time when they're away from the ring. They have a lot of free time when they're on the road. They got to keep their mind and they got to keep their sanity somehow. There's no doubt in my mind, people in the back, people in the locker room, people who work there, people who aren't even wrestlers, creative writers, agents. You're not going to convince me that they're not listening to podcasts. Last time I seen Justin LeBar, not this year. Not this year. It was very brief this year. But the year before. He told me his exact words. He's like, be careful what you say. Because they, and he stressed the word they are listening. They are listening. And I'm like, I know they are. I know they are. Road Dogg knew who I was. And he blocked me because he can't take all the vulgar language. And he didn't want anybody giving him that much of a critical opinion of the product. At the end of the day, it's professional wrestling. Xavier Woods says that at the end of the day, if you're blacklisted, you are forever blacklisted. Which, again, I didn't take it to heart, but it kind of puts a damper on everything that I'm doing. And by the end of the night, I'm thinking maybe I'm really not as, better off doing this than opposed to doing something else, And then he says maybe you shouldn't be doing wrestling at all, Which, I don't take that offensively, but at the end of the day, it is just professional wrestling. Maybe he meant that in terms of, wrestling is not going to be as popular moving on into the future. We don't know what the world of professional wrestling holds. We don't know how long it's going to be around. We don't know if it's going to, die off. We don't know if it's going to maintain where it is now or ultimately die off. We don't know if it's going to gain in popularity. We don't know. Maybe you should do something else besides professional wrestling. Because I have a very opinionated stance on the product. I feel like there's a marketplace for that. I just don't want to be pigeonholed into being, this guy who's very overly critical about everything but sees no positive in it. So that kind of, it didn't really make me, I wasn't offended by it, but it didn't really make me have a great outlook by the end of the night, because I felt like maybe I could be doing better, But I don't believe for a second that these guys are not listening to podcasts. I honestly believe that a few sprinkles here and there within the WWE company know what I do here. I know that for a fact. Otherwise, LeBar wouldn't have told me. Because if LeBar told me, they are listening. He's as credible as anybody. So that kind of, I don't know, kind of gave me one of these vibes, 50-50. I'm like, I love what I do, but, if Xavier Woods is telling me that I hit a wall and I'm going nowhere, it doesn't really make you feel good by the end of the night. But that didn't take away from the good time that I had. I'm just giving you guys my evening, Friday after House of Glory, because there really is no news here for Off the Script on part 3. I do have some news, but the majority of what I wanted to talk about was Friday night. But it was a great time. House of Glory was fantastic. I can't wait till the next event, Glory at War. Get your tickets, HOGWrestling.net, HOG Live on Facebook every Friday night, usually at 8 or 9 p.m., depends on the time. And I hope to see you guys at the show. I want to thank Nick again for the poster. I want to thank Luigi. I want to thank Macho. I want to thank Tony Pizza Guy for a very, very good evening. I want to thank Xavier Woods, even though I know he's not listening, for a very, very chill, relaxing, awesome evening. Just to see him, it was awesome. And I can't wait to do it again, man. I love the business. I love being in and around the business. I want to make a name for myself in the business, whether it's through the commentary, getting better at that, maybe having a small role somewhere, I love to be a part of the action. I want to move forward. Who knows what the future holds after House of Glory, All I'm waiting for is an opportunity. I'm waiting for someone to hear me, whether it's here or through my work at House of Glory, to take that next step in my career, So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens with that. But I'm very grateful for what I have now, and I'm going to continue to bust my ass doing what I love to do, and I'm going to give 100% at all times in everything that I do, man. So thank you to everybody who has shown support, whether it's watching, liking the videos, sharing the videos, whether you're a part of the Patreon team. Thank you guys so much, man. I really appreciate it. It's been a very, very long weekend. I know Off the Script didn't get uploaded early for my Patreons. I know Off the Script didn't get uploaded at its usual time at 11 o'clock. This weekend killed me, man. So I just kind of took a little break. And the fact that there really wasn't any news, I'm lucky I waited till now to record, because there are some news articles that I had that I didn't have, earlier on. So you guys got a full episode instead of getting like a 20-30 minute Off the Script where there was no news. But thank you guys for everything, man. If you do enjoy what you see here, subscribe down below. JD from NY206 on YouTube.com. Hit that bell. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Follow me on Twitter at JD from NY206. I want to say that the new Get Off My TV t-shirt is now available on barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. It is this shirt redone with Jinder Mahal, Enzo Amore, Bailey, and Titus O'Neil. So if you guys want to go pick that up, it is available now. I expect you guys to blow Barbershop Window away with purchasing that shirt, man. It's absolutely beautiful. I can't wait to get mine. It's barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. And here's the incentive, man. Code JD17 at checkout. Everybody that orders shirts, no matter if you order 1, 2, 3, multiples, you're going to get 20% off your entire order, man. JD17 at checkout at barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. My campaign on teespring.com for the Team JD Bullet Club design, you guys are blowing that away, man. I set a lowly goal at 40. We blew the goal away, man. We have 50 shirts sold right now. And we got till Wednesday to get that out there, man. If we could get to 100 shirts by Wednesday, that would absolutely blow me away, man. So if you guys want to get your Team JD exclusive, you're not going to find it anywhere else. You're not going to find it on Barbershop Window. It is available only till Wednesday on teespring.com. Get yours today. I urge you, man. It's a great way to support the show, and it is only available till Wednesday. After that, you won't see it for the rest of the year. It's only going to be one of a kind, because I'm going to end up changing the design and doing something different. So we'll see what happens with that. But if you guys want that original design, you guys can get that on teespring.com. I'll leave you guys a link down below in the comment section pinned. Make sure you guys go and get that, and I'll tweet it out all week long on Twitter at JD from NY206. Thank you guys for everything, man. Let's get into the news. I got some news articles here. I want to start off with this small story, man. There's two small stories I want to start before I get into the meat and potatoes of this podcast. You guys know, if you go to a wrestling event, not to run into the ring. Simple as that. Do not run into the ring. Do not try and make yourself a part of the action. Don't make a bet with your friend for any type of monetary amount or alcohol or a blowjob from your girlfriend on a whim, something like that. Don't run into the ring and don't make yourself a part of the action, okay? This guy obviously is a fool, and he is now possibly banned from all WWE live events forever because he's an asshole. Now, NXT live events are fun because of the atmosphere that is generated by the fans in attendance. But every now and then there's one fool who feels that he needs to be a part of the show. This is what happened on Friday night in Tampa Bay at an NXT live event. A fan jumped in the ring during a match between the undisputed Cole, Fish, and O'Reilly. They went in a match against Cassius Ohno and Heavy Machinery. According to the reports on the show, O'Reilly kicked the fan in the face and then was quickly pulled and escorted out of the ring and out of the arena. Presumably, he will be banned from all future WWE events. There is video on this floating around on Twitter if you guys want to go do some research on your own. I don't have any links or anything, but if you are at a WWE live event, there is a reason why you are gated behind a barricade. Do not jump in the ring. And I do not blame Kyle O'Reilly for kicking this guy in the face, because you don't know what these people are going to do. These crazed fans, they could have a weapon, they could have a knife, they could have mace, they could have something to injure you with. You don't trust anybody on the outside. Okay? There's a reason why you are barricaded from the performers in the ring. What they are doing in the ring is choreographed, and one misstep can lead to potential injury or death. You don't want to fuck that up. Okay? This guy clearly doesn't have a respect for the business that he went into the ring and started, bullshit with Kyle O'Reilly and NXT. It's ridiculous. There was an instance at the House of Glory show that I want to make a mention of here, and being that I'm talking about fans. There was an instance at the House of Glory show on Friday where someone threw toilet paper into the ring. Instead of throwing the streamers like you usually see at the independent shows, someone threw toilet paper in the ring at one of the performers. I don't know how disrespectful one can be. No matter if you're a babyface or heel, if you don't like them or not, or if you like them or not, you don't throw toilet paper at a fucking wrestling performer or wrestler in the ring. That's blatant disrespect. Okay? I know I wouldn't like it. So, people like that deserve to just have their wrestling fandom revoked. Especially this idiot. Who knows? I don't blame anybody for attacking the fans, because you don't trust anybody. There was an instance not too long ago where I believe it was during when the Shield was together. Ambrose and Rollins and Reigns, there was a fan who jumped the barricade and had a bulletproof vest on as if he was pretending to be part of the Shield. I don't know if you guys remember that. I think it was on Raw. And then he got taken away. That's scary shit. That's scary shit. The three guys, Reigns, Rollins, and Ambrose, had the restraint to not do anything, and then security quickly jumped in the ring and took this guy away. But who knows if he had a weapon or if he would have attacked one of them who's got a knife, a gun. Worst case scenario, What happened to Dimebag Darrell? Somebody decided to take a gun and sneak a gun into the venue and shot him dead on stage. It's not out of the ordinary. It's not out of the question that's something like that can happen here at a wrestling event. And I'll be reporting someone who was shot in the ring during a wrestling match. There's a reason why there's a barricade. Fans like this deserve fines. He deserves to be thrown in prison. He deserves to get his ass kicked. Put him in the ring for 5 minutes with fucking Cassius Ohno. Put him in the ring with for 5 minutes with Otis Dojovic or Kyle O'Reilly or any one of them. Any one of them. Let me see him want to run into the ring again. So this guy has his WWE event, ticket revoked. He's done. So don't run in the ring. Don't be a part of the show. Don't take a stupid dare. Don't try and get your 5 minutes of fame, less than that, 5 seconds of fame for something stupid. It's not worth it. So, good on O'Reilly. I don't blame him for kicking this goon in the face. What Culture Pro Wrestling. You guys know the deal with the What Culture guys. Adam Blampied, You got Adam Pacitti, Jack the Jobber, King Ross, I believe, done, all gone. They are not with What Culture anymore. They are rebranding themselves and going to be doing the same content that they have been doing for What Culture under a new name. But What Culture Pro Wrestling is also getting a makeover. They are rebranding under a new name, and they actually announced a former WWE superstar as their new GM. So What Culture Pro Wrestling, WCPW, is getting a makeover following the departure of several key staff members. They announced on their website that they would rebrand as Defiant Wrestling in December. The first show under the new name will be called We Are Defiant and will air live on 12/4 on pay-per-view via a brand new on-demand service, Access Defiant and the Fight app. They also announced that the show would take place at the O2 Academy in Newcastle. As part of the rebranding, they have announced that Stu Bennett, a.k.a. Wade Barrett, Bad News Barrett, will be the new general manager, and he will open the show on 12/4. The company has also announced that the old WCPW shows will be made available on the Access Defiant service and What Culture Extra and will be reduced to $4.99 starting on 11/1. The company also announced that their free weekly show will continue on YouTube. Tickets for We Are Defiant go on sale Friday, 10/7/2017. So if you guys are in the Newcastle area and you want to go see What Culture Pro Wrestling under a new name called Defiant Wrestling, there you go. But I was never a fan of What Culture Pro Wrestling. I really didn't dive into what they did. I seen clips here and there, seen matches here and there, but Adam, Jack, those guys, they were What Culture. They were what made What Culture Pro Wrestling so viable. They were what made What Culture Pro Wrestling, have all the eyes on the company as it did. So losing those guys for them not being active in-ring talent. They were a part of the show. Just the fact that they were associated with What Culture, that bled over into the company, because everybody who loves wrestling, obviously you're watching What Culture for wrestling, and then you see your favorite personalities in an actual wrestling show promoted and run by the people who work on the same content you're watching on YouTube. That's exciting, man. Like if you're a fan of Adam Pacitti, if you're a fan of Adam Blampier, and you're a fan of what he does on What Culture, the YouTube channel, why wouldn't you want to watch him as the GM or running shit on What Culture Pro Wrestling? Having those guys not there is going to be a major blow to What Culture Pro Wrestling. I wish them all the best of luck because they are talented at what they do. They got a great voice. They got a great passion for this business. And the fact that they left for whatever reason, they wanted to start new opportunities on their own. They didn't want to be those guys working under someone. They don't want to be restricted. They're going to be doing everything that you loved from them under a new umbrella. A lot of people are going to migrate from What Culture to whatever they're doing. And it's going to be an exciting time, But the fact that they're rebranding now, it looks like it's, they left and What Culture now doesn't want anything to do with what they built, with what Blampier did and what Pacitti did and what Jack did. That they want to just rebrand under a new name, and they want to shed that old stigma of what those guys left behind. They just want to start new. You can't blame either party. They want to do what they want to do on their own. What Culture wants to rebrand under a different name and just shed that skin? Fine, let them do what they want to do. I wish them all the best. But that's not going to deter the fact that a lot of people are going to migrate over and join both Adams and King Ross and Jack the Jobber and just kind of follow what they're doing. It's going to be a big blow. It's going to be almost like a restart for What Culture. They're going to have to develop, new shows under a different name. They got to develop a new fan base. They got to try and generate a new fan base. They got to continue putting on the shows that they've been putting on. And they've been bringing in some big names, man. The Rey Mysterios, the Alberto El Patrons, the Kurt Angles, the Drew McIntyres, the Cody Rhodes, the Matt Riddles, and everybody in between, Will Ospreays. They brought in a lot of talent. I'm sure they shelled out a lot of cash. Bischoff, they had Jim Ross commentating. I believe they have Jim Cornette a part of one show. Those guys don't come cheap. Those guys don't come cheap. And with all this YouTube monetization mess that happened all summer, and the fact that they probably weren't making any money, and the fact that they and Adam, King Ross, and Jack the Jobber, they all wanted to just move on and do something else. Maybe they weren't being compensated. Maybe it was part of budget cuts. I don't know. We don't know. It's none of our business to know. But I know all that talent didn't come cheap at all. So I wish them the best of luck. And they did have a wrestling promotion to run at the end of the day. Who knows if these guys are going to go and start up their own wrestling promotion? Who knows? Maybe it will lead to that. Maybe we'll have direct competition between the What Culture guys and this new Defiant Wrestling. You know? Who knows? So it could be. I understand it's a scary time, but it's also, you got to look at it as an exciting time, because you're still going to get to see your favorite guys that are still there at What Culture. You got your Simon Millers, and you got your I don't know who else is there. I mean, I generally just watch Simon. He's been doing the ups and downs for Raw and SmackDown. He did it for No Mercy. You know, you're probably going to be seeing a bunch of Simon Miller on that channel, but Simon's still there. You know, this gives you an opportunity and gives other people an opportunity that were there in What Culture to kind of create their own, character now and their own brand and develop their own following. Maybe there's another Adam hidden in the depths of What Culture, man. Maybe there's another Adam, like a needle in the haystack. Maybe they got another Adam over there. Who the hell knows? You never know unless you give someone the opportunity. But it's going to be the best of both worlds. You're going to get to see still your favorite guys that are still there, and you're going to get to see your favorites who left on a new platform. So embrace it. Embrace the change. You're going to get 2 now instead of 1. So What Culture Pro Wrestling going to rebrand under a new name. Bad News Barrett is going to be the new GM, man. So I don't know how much they're paying him. I'm pretty sure he don't come cheap. So there you go. Wade Barrett going to be the new GM of What Culture Pro Wrestling. What Culture Pro Wrestling is going to be no more by December. Going to be rebranded as Defiant Wrestling. And their first show under that new name is on December 4th, 2017. We got backstage news here, man, on Enzo Amore. He continues to get into more backstage heat. I got reason why Enzo won the Cruiserweight Championship. And I got reasons why Enzo could have more backstage heat on him after this week. Enzo made a comment to Corey Graves on Twitter, this was as of yesterday, that will get him more backstage heat in the WWE. Why he opens his mouth, I don't get it. He's opened his mouth before, and he's paid the consequence. Shut your mouth. Realest guy in the room, how you doing? You may be the realest guy in the room, but you're the most hated guy in the room. You have more than a couple of haters. I'm sure of that. Enzo's heat in the locker room has not subsided, yet he's the Cruiserweight Champion. In fact, he may have more heat on him after his tweet that he sent to Corey Graves. Graves joked about his son running to second base and dancing like Enzo Amore. He wrote on Twitter, and I quote, "My son just ran to second base and danced like Enzo Amore to celebrate. I have failed as a father." Pretty funny comment. Man. You gotta love Corey Graves' sarcastic sense of humor. I love it. It's no secret that Graves is not a fan of Amore because of his backstage antics. On an episode of Bring It to the Table, Corey Graves actually talked about Enzo Amore being kicked off the WWE talent bus several months ago while the wrestlers were on an overseas tour. But Corey Graves also said, yeah, I might not like Enzo Amore, but that doesn't mean I don't want him a part of the team because I know how valuable he can be. So in one breath, he says that he didn't like Enzo. He talked about him being kicked off the bus. But in the other breath, he talked about how he would still want Enzo to be part of the team because he knows the kind of money that Enzo can generate and the type of buzz Enzo can generate. Enzo takes it upon himself to be a keyboard warrior and responded to that tweet made by Corey Graves. Enzo says, and I quote, "Nah, you didn't fail as a father. You failed as a wrestler. That's why they dressed you up in a suit and tie and told you to sit down. Hashtag how you doing. Hashtag champ." Now, that's pretty fucked up. I can sit here without any recollection at all or any inside information at all, and I can tell you that Corey Graves is probably one of the most liked individuals in all of WWE backstage for the work that he's done. If he was not, he wouldn't have opportunities on Raw, SmackDown, TakeOver, 205 Live. They wouldn't assign Corey Graves to do all these things when I'm sure there are other guys they can give the opportunity to. They wouldn't assign Corey Graves to be the voice of all these different things and network specials here and IGN specials here for the video game. They wouldn't call upon Corey Graves if they didn't think he was worth it. If they didn't think he deserved it, they wouldn't give him these opportunities. They wouldn't make him the next big voice of WWE, the voice that you're going to hear and you're going to realize, oh, that's Corey Graves, I'm watching WWE. They wouldn't be going out of their way to get behind this guy as much as they did if he wasn't liked. So Enzo made the mistake right now of calling out someone who is probably very well loved in WWE and kind of threw a jab at him about why he can't wrestle. We all know why Corey Graves can't wrestle. It's because WWE didn't want him to get in the ring after concussion, after concussion, after concussion. 3 or 4 concussions, and WWE took it upon themselves to say, you know what, enough is enough. We don't want you in the ring. We don't want you to risk life with concussion history, okay? So WWE, they could have easily just let him walk. Corey could have done anything else. He wanted to remain with the company because he loves WWE. So Triple H gave him an opportunity on NXT to give him a color commentator spot. He blew everybody out of the water. By the end of the year, he was the best thing on WWE television. He was the closest thing that we've ever gotten to a Jesse Ventura or Bobby the Brain Heenan. He's still young. He's still got so much room to grow. He's going to be a future voice. He's going to be a voice that people are going to admire and look up to and want to idolize. People are going to want to be the next Corey Graves. That's a huge compliment. I look at Corey Graves as an influence. That's a huge compliment. So the fact that Enzo Amore made comments like that, I'm pretty sure that they're not going to go over very well. So he might have dug himself, not a 6-foot grave. That 6-foot grave is becoming 7, 8, 9 with every tweet, with every reaction. Enzo is not making himself look good, but WWE put the title on him. WWE put the title on him. I don't know why. I don't know why. They want to build 205 Live around Enzo Amore, but realistically, it's going to end up showing in the numbers that he's not doing anything. He's not moving no needle for 205 Live. I'm as big as the WWE mark that there is, and I'm not watching 205 Live. Enzo, you could take it from me. You could take it from a guy who loves the product, no matter how overly critical I am. You could take it from me. Are you watching 205 Live because Enzo Amore is the face of that brand now? No, I'm not. I'm not. The people who answer yes to that question, they are the ones who are not really a big fan as I am. They watch very casually. They accept everything WWE does. Those are the people that WWE wants. But if you're going to ask me, am I watching 205 Live because of Enzo Amore? Or if I'm watching 205 Live because Enzo Amore is the Cruiserweight champion? No, I'm not. I'm not. At all. But there's a reason why Enzo won the title. Enzo shocked the world when he defeated Neville at No Mercy to become the new Cruiserweight champion. My tweet got over 1,000 likes the night that it happened at No Mercy. Now, if people didn't agree with me, it's very difficult for me to get 1,000 likes on anything. But when it does, I know that the majority of the voices out there feel the same way that I'm doing. Enzo became the new Cruiserweight champion at No Mercy. Amore was just a recent addition to the 205 Live roster, so his win came as a surprise to many, considering that he lacks the wrestling ability to compete in the division. The latest backstage news has revealed the real reason why Amore won the Cruiserweight Championship. Now, according to Dave Meltzer and Wrestling Observer Live, one of the main reasons why Enzo Amore joined the division and won the title is to help increase viewership for 205 Live. The WWE is reportedly planning to make Amore the main focus of the show rather than wrestling. So they want to make Enzo and this cheesy, over-the-top, is he heel, is he babyface bullshit. They want to make that the reason why you tune into the show. That is against everything that Triple H and William Regal and everybody in Triple H's camp. That's the one reason why the Cruiserweight Championship was so sought after coming out of the Cruiserweight Classic. It's complete opposite from what they wanted it to be to where we are now. I don't know who's handling 205 Live. I don't know who's running 205 Live. I don't know who's making the decisions for 205 Live. It can't be Vince McMahon. I doubt anybody in Vince McMahon's circle is running 205 Live. They just don't care. They just don't care. But the fact that they're making Enzo the reason people to watch or for people to watch, That's a joke to me. There's a reason why he's on a t-shirt. There's a reason why I can't stand him. He's become so obnoxious that I don't really care for Enzo anymore. I did when he got brought up from NXT. I was a huge fan of those guys. I was a huge supporter of what those guys did. From where we are now with Enzo to where we were then when they were in NXT, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. The WWE is reportedly planning to make Enzo Amore the main focus of the show. So what does that say about everybody else that you signed coming from the Cruiserweight Classic? That they're not as important as Enzo Amore? They're not as talented as Enzo Amore? What brought them to this point is not more important over Enzo Amore, a guy who can't wrestle? A guy who can't wrestle. So the Cruiserweight Classic was showcased, or has showcased, 32 of the best talents in the world in their weight class. The main focus of that tournament was what the Cruiserweights bring to the table. The different form of style that the Cruiserweights bring to the table compared to a formulaic show of WWE. You're going away from all of that and telling me that is not important anymore. That the only important thing here is someone like Enzo Amore and the fact that he can entertain. They're using Enzo as the entertainment scapegoat. And they're trying to utilize that to build viewership on 205 Live. First of all, I told you how to fix the Cruiserweight division. A, no weight limit. B, get rid of 205 Live. They did not need a show. They don't need a show. The only reason why 205 Live exists is because they need content for the network for an extra hour on Tuesday nights. You don't need it. You don't need it. The Cruiserweights could have been much better off on NXT. You could have built another half an hour into NXT if you wanted. You could have did that. You could have brought the Cruiserweight Championship down to NXT. At least at that point, I would have been more comfortable with NXT and Gabe Sapolsky and everybody else down there booking the Cruiserweights in the right way, in the right light. And you could use that as a platform to bring them up to the main roster and maybe have them break out of that Cruiserweight mold. Nobody wants to be defined as a Cruiserweight their entire career. There's a reason why Jericho and Guerrero and Benoit and Mysterio all went on to win world championships. You didn't hold those guys down. So why should you hold these guys down? Now, granted, you don't have anybody in the Cruiserweight division now that's a Benoit or a Jericho or a Guerrero or Mysterio. I understand that. But who's to say that they don't develop into a main event guy? I could see Cedric Alexander fighting for an Intercontinental Championship. I could see Brian Kendrick fighting for a mid-card championship. You know? Tony Nese has got a great look. TJP's got a great look. Why aren't we getting guys like that focused on with wrestling on a different platform? Why are you pigeonholing them on 205 Live? But now you want to go against everything that you did with the Cruiserweight Classics to make Enzo Amore the main focus when he can't wrestle. It's a slap in the face to everybody. No wonder there's deep-rooted resentment. This is why Austin Aries left. This is why Austin Aries left. This is why Kota Ibushi didn't sign. He's no idiot. This is why Zack Sabre Jr. didn't want to sign. Imagine if WWE got those guys and we were stuck with Kota Ibushi and Zack Sabre Jr. in this bullshit. With Enzo as the Cruiserweight champion over a Zack Sabre Jr.? What are you, out of your mind? You're never going to get anybody to come into the Cruiserweight division. At all. Nobody is going to want to come. If you are that type of wrestler, there's no reason for you to come on into the WWE. There's none. They are doing everything in their power to make sure you don't sign with the company. What are you going to do with Lio Rush? What are you going to do with Lio Rush when he's ready to be promoted from NXT? You're going to put him in the Cruiserweight division? What are you going to do with Aleister Black? You're going to put him in the Cruiserweight division because Aleister Black is under 205 pounds. He's right borderline 203, 204 pounds. He may be 205 even. You're going to put him on NXT? You're going to put him on 205 Live? What are you going to do with Johnny Gargano? Johnny Gargano's not going to be down in NXT forever. What are you going to do with Tommaso Ciampa? What are you going to do with Andrade Cien Almas? He's under 205 pounds. Doesn't bode well. What are you going to do with Hideo Itami? I don't get it. I really don't get it. WWE has made a mockery of the Cruiserweight division. WWE has pretty much said this to the fans, and this for us getting good television in the future. Why can't a guy like Hideo Itami be a Cruiserweight champion, but also challenge for the Intercontinental Championship? Why? Why can't a guy like Cedric Alexander, why can't he be the Cruiserweight champion, but also fight guys like Seth Rollins on Monday Night Raw? Why was Neville Cruiserweight champion, but is not allowed to wrestle a guy like Finn Balor, who's 185 pounds? If there's no weight limit for Finn Balor on Monday Night Raw, if Finn Balor can fight Samoa Joe and Elias Sampson and rumored Brock Lesnar, why can't Neville do that? Why can't Neville do that? WWE has pigeonholed not only themselves, but their talent from ever going anywhere with 205 Live. Enzo Amore is a slap in the face of everything that the Cruiserweight Classic set out to do. This is why I don't like it. It's a joke. It's not entertaining. I didn't laugh. They had one good segment, that Enzo celebration, that certified G celebration, of whatever the hell he called it. It was entertaining because he got his ass kicked. But WWE gave him the championship ultimately to embarrass him still. Because after the cameras went off, Braun Strowman came out and decimated the guy. He wiped the floor with Enzo Amore. So they're selling 205 Live on, let's beat up Enzo Amore. Let's book Enzo Amore in some cheap, cheesy, entertaining bullshit. Are you going to stay in the arena for that after SmackDown Live? Because nobody's showing up to SmackDown Live to begin with. You're going to watch 205 Live for that? Or would you watch 205 Live if it was built up right from day one? You know? Maybe you'd get guys like Kota Ibushi and Zack Sabre and a Rey Mysterio to make a one-off appearance there before they go off and do something else, you know? To challenge a Brian Kendrick or a TJP or a Neville. I don't understand the direction here. I don't. I wish I was in charge of the Cruiserweight division. I would love to be in charge of 205 Live. I would wipe the floor clean. I'd fire Enzo Amore. I'd strip him of the title. I'd have a tournament on 205 Live to crown our new Cruiserweight champion, and I'd get rid of the fucking weight limit. That's what I'd do. Then I'd cancel 205 Live completely. Put them on Raw and give them a match or two on Raw. Start building a division. Start building win streaks. Start building a number one contender. Start building guys that are worthy of a championship title shot. Start building a champion. The champion should be able to fight guys who are on Monday Night Raw's main roster. They should. You should be able to get guys like Cedric Alexander teaming with a Jason Jordan versus an Axel and a Dallas. You know? Because sometimes those guys aren't featured. What if you want to showcase a Cedric Alexander in a high-profile tag team match like that? People will be more accustomed to know who he is and see his in-ring work. You know? Whereas he's not used at all. I don't know. I'm going on a tangent. I'm going on a rant because this is just something that bothers me, man. Enzo is not making you watch regardless. He's not. He's not going to get me to watch. He hasn't gotten me to watch. Anything that 205 Live has done has not gotten me to watch. The one thing that they've done right is make Neville a name, again, in WWE. We all know that Neville is one of the best in that company. He deserves better. Cruiserweight division needs a complete rebranding. No question. So what's the plans for Enzo moving forward? Dave Meltzer, the Wrestling Observer, pointed out that Neville will eventually get another shot at Enzo Amore. The current WWE Cruiserweight Champion is set to feud with either Rich Swann or Cedric Alexander, or even both, before Neville. Meltzer also knows that WWE is going to find a way to void Enzo's no-touch clause. And I quote, well, it leads to Enzo against Neville. This is probably a way to delay a couple of months And maybe Enzo will work with Rich Swann first because that was one of the guys he insulted. Or maybe someone else, maybe Cedric. He did insult Cedric as well. He did call Grand Metalik fat. You know, he did call Neville Gollum, which cracked a smile from me, I'm not going to lie. It's a way to keep Neville from getting a shot for a while, so when he does, it's a bigger deal in the end. Now, according to Sportskeeda, one of the potential ways to remove the no-touch clause is to possibly name an authority figure or a general manager on 205 Live. Whoever that may end up being, I have no idea. Having a general manager easily resolves the problem, but WWE has to find the right guy for the job to make it happen. I love a role like that. I'd love to be the general manager of 205 Live. Nevertheless, the WWE tends to change their plans on a regular basis. Enzo Amore might lose the title in the coming weeks, or he might hold it for a year. Who the hell knows? If he could get people interested in the show, I wouldn't doubt it. Cage-Side Seats reports that Enzo boosted viewership for 205 Live last week, but it came right back to normal this week. So there you got it, man. Enzo isn't going to do anything in the long run. He's not going to be one to move the needle and keep it there. Keep it on the increase. It may move it a little bit, but it's going to go right back down because people don't believe in Enzo as a champion. The reason why people aren't watching SmackDown Live, but there are rumors going around that WWE wants to keep the title on Jinder Mahal to WrestleMania 34. That's like asking somebody to fucking drink this bleach and kill yourself right now. Jinder Mahal is WWE champion till WrestleMania 34. Jinder is one of the reasons why people are not watching SmackDown Live. Because they don't believe in Jinder as a champion. How could you believe in the show, yet have a champion as Jinder Mahal? That's going to keep you around to watch? Same thing with Enzo. This fucking dog's barking. I don't know if you guys can hear that. But good thing the show's over. Good thing the show's over, man. That is all I got for Off the Script. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you guys so much, man. I will be back on Monday with, I don't know what I'm going to be doing Monday. Monday Night Raw review. If there's any news, I'll report it on an Off the Script Extra. You guys know the deal. I got so many ideas brewing in my head, man. It's just very difficult for me to do right now. So keep an eye on an ear, man. I might surprise you with an upcoming announcement. I might surprise you with a video. Something. But Monday Night Raw review tomorrow night, live on the channel. Make sure you guys check in for that. Tuesday, people have been asking me, Tuesday afternoon, episode number 3 of The Walking Dead, live on YouTube. So make sure you guys tune into that. And then we'll continue with the week's content as the week goes on, man. Thank you guys so much. I am JD. Hit that thumbs up. Make sure you guys support any way you can. Thanks again to Nick for the poster, the Sledgehammer TV Wrestling Podcast. I'll leave you guys a link at the end of this video. Make sure you guys go and check it out. Also linked in the description down below. Go support him. Let's get him to 500 subs. He definitely deserves it, and I would appreciate it if you guys go and show some support. And I will be back, as always, with more content. Start on Monday, man. Thank you guys so much. I'm JD. Enjoy your Sunday afternoons, and I'll see you all tomorrow night for Monday Night Raw review. I'll talk to you later.